Hey guys, Diana here from Garden Love. I am so excited because my sister-in-law brought me a bag of some amazing things that I've been wanting to get for a while that's for free. So this episode is going to be about 3 things that you guys can get for your garden for free that's going to benefit your plants, your trees, everything that you're growing in your garden. Alright, let me go ahead and show you guys. So yes, it's a bag of mulch, but we didn't pay for the mulch that's inside of it. Let me show you why. It's actually a whole bunch of pine needles. It's my absolutely #1 favorite free mulch in the world. So I'm going to show you a few of my trees that I went ahead and put these awesome pine needles on my trees, and you're going to be able to see that the soil right below it is completely moist, which is the whole objective of you putting mulch. You want to make sure that your trees are not completely drying out, especially because they have feeder roots that are right below the first inch of soil. So it's very important that you guys always keep that top inch moist to allow your feeder roots to get the moisture and the nutrients that it needs from there. So I'm going to go ahead and show you now. Alright guys, so basically I just water this fruit tree. Every day that I come out here it's completely dried out. That's no good, especially if you're growing a citrus, okay? This is what I do. I just basically get the pine needles and I just lay it all around. Come close and see. Eventually, once you keep watering, these pine needles will get a little flatter and they would start connecting with the soil that you're laying them on, and worms will be feeding off the above soil, and your soil right below it will be completely moist. So you want to do a thick layer. That way the moisture can stay on the top layer of your soil. Basically that is it. Another thing that's very good about pine needles, they don't hold actual moisture within itself. It just helps hold moisture down. So you don't have to worry that much about this mulch touching the trunk of your tree, because it's not going to have moisture on the actual pine needles. It's just going to help the soil retain the moisture that's already in there. Basically that's it. Take a look. It makes a huge difference. And this tree is going to be so happy for it. So guys, it doesn't get easier and cheaper than this. Go ahead and get a trash bag or this recycled mulch bag. Go to the park, find a pine tree, go ahead and rake some of these beautiful pine needles. Get loads of bags. I'm sure the park won't mind you doing the job for them to picking up those pine needles, and you will benefit greatly from it, and it's for free. Here's one, guys. So I went ahead and added this because it's getting very hot, and if you lift it you're going to be able to see that there's still some moisture on the soil right below the mulch, which is very important if you're growing fruit trees in containers. That's one of my biggest tips, to add mulch to all your fruit trees, especially if they're growing in containers, and that is because they dry out a lot faster. And since this is the level of soil is right above, there's not a lot of water that's going to be sitting around here, so adding mulch to your tree is an absolutely must. Now it doesn't have to be pine needles. It could be leaves. It can be actual mulch that you purchase from the store. But if you want it for free, I would just suggest to go to a park or ask a friend or a sister-in-law. Like for my example, she brought me all these pine needles from her amazing her pine tree. All right, so let me go ahead and show you some more other examples. So here's my laurel bay tree. Same example. I went ahead and add this one. I have not watered in a while. I went ahead just add this mulch just right now before I started the video, and as you can see, look at how dry the soil is. So I'm going to go ahead and water this here pretty soon, and now that we have this mulch sitting on top of it, it's going to be perfect, and it's going to keep a lot more moisture than it did before without it. Alright guys, let's talk about the second thing that you guys can get for free that's going to help benefit all your fruit trees and all the vegetables and everything you have growing in the garden. That is some coffee grounds. I went ahead and went to Starbucks and asked. I called before I went and I said, can I please have some coffee grounds for my garden? They said, sure, come by tomorrow as before we close, give us your name. I went ahead and did that, and I want to pick up a huge bag of coffee grounds. Now there's a huge belief that it doesn't help your trees. Now what it does, it feeds the worms that are inside the ground and soil where your trees are growing and your vegetables are growing. So it's not necessarily feeding your trees, but it's feeding the worms inside the soil, and in exchange the worms are pooping and giving you worm castings to feed your plants. So it's kind of like a circle that helps your tree all around, and I'm going to show you guys how I use the worm castings. Let's go. Alright, here it is. Basically all the coffee ground. I just make sure that it's all broken down, and quite frankly all I do is I take a little bit and I just sprinkle a little bit. That way the worms can come up and get some yummy worm castings. They eat, I'm sorry, not worm castings, they come up and eat the coffee ground. And that's it. You don't want to put too much, you just want to put a little bit. That way the worms can come and eat it up. That's it, guys. It really doesn't need a lot. Like I said, this is just to feed the worms, not to feed your plants. Once the worms go ahead and eat the coffee grounds, the worms will feed your plants. Alright guys, so here's the last tip. The third thing that you can have in your garden for free is going to be compost. Compost is very easy to make, believe it or not. Your plants are going to absolutely benefit from it, and I'm going to show you how I'm growing my compost, or how I'm using a trash can to have my compost. Basically all I did is drill some holes so that way worms can have access to it, and there's some air going into there. I went ahead and added a little bit of soil at the bottom, start adding all my food waste, put some dry leaves, some newspaper, a little bit of water, and mixing it. And over time, with the heat and the sun, everything will be cooking in there. Worms will start accessing the container, start feeding off the food that you're putting in there, and in exchange doing that beautiful black gold that you want to put back into your soil. Super easy. I didn't have room to get an actual compost bin, so I created this for my garden. If you don't have room for this, you can literally take a container, a recycled container, a 5-gallon container from any of the plants that you purchase. Go ahead and put a little bit of soil, add your food waste, put another some more soil right above it. That way the gnats don't get to it, or you don't start getting gnats. And whenever you want to add some more food waste, you dig a little hole, you put it back in there, you covered it, and there you go. I would start 1 or 2 or 3. That way you can rotate between the harvest, and then you can start another one once you start harvesting the previous one. Super easy, guys. It's free. You're not putting waste back into the landfills. You're actually using it to put it back into your beautiful garden by starting to grow green beans. You can start growing zucchinis, peppers, some more peppers, some amazing tomatoes. I mean, it's absolutely free, guys. Those are 3 tips that you can use to start growing your food for free. Basically all you need to get maybe is a little raised bed, maybe a little container, a little bit of soil to get started, and then you can use the other 3 things for free. Alright guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope to see some comments and hear from you guys to see if whether or not you guys have used these tips before. I want to know, what are you guys doing for free to use in your garden? Because I'm always all about new tips and growing my garden for free or very cheap. Alright guys, you guys have a blessed day. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.